Hi everyone and welcome to this video. This video is going to be about buttons. It'll be really simple. So if you have the kit that I have, you'll have these two different types of buttons. You'll have this toggle switch button. Just show you what this is like. You can toggle it like that, toggle it on or off. It's a 6-pin thing. Or you'll have this type of button. And this one is called, I can't remember if it's called tactile or tactile, something like that. Give you a good view there. There you go, looks like that. And we're going to be working with this one. Essentially though, it's the same principle. So what happens is that, well, this is a four pin one, but if we just keep it simple and say it's a 2-pin one, you could imagine that current would flow through here, and then when you press the switch, it's shorted or bridged over to the other one. So current could come in, it's bridged, and then out. But if you don't press it, or it's depressed, then there is no contact between the two pins, and therefore it's an open circuit. Open circuit means that current can't flow through, which means that it wouldn't work essentially. Whatever it's trying to power or whatever signal it's trying to get through won't get through. When you press it, they're shorted together, it's bridged, and current can flow through. Anyway, that's what this is going to be about. So we're going to put the little switch in here, which you can sort of jam it in between like that. So what I've got here is on line 29. So line 29 going down there, and line 29 going up here. As you remember from the last video, there those 5 little holes are all joined together, and these ones are joined together. And the same for 31, they're joined together, and 31 on this side are all joined together. Okay, so what do we want to do with that? Well, you've probably got these as well, these little jumper wire things. These are really good quality ones from my kit. So what we want to do is we want to read a value from the button. We want to say, is it pressed or not? So here's a misconception about buttons. It's something that I learned when I first started getting into this. A lot of people think that buttons are for power, they switch power on, but they don't necessarily always work that way. You can also switch signals. So as with a power device, like powering the LED or powering a bulb or whatever, the idea of the button is to let power go through it in order to power something on. But with this, with signals, it's not like that. It's either a digital high or a low, and basically it's either high or low. So when you press it, it will be one state, and you release it, it'll be the other state. So no power is actually getting consumed. It's a way to say whether something is on or off, or high or low, or true or false. Anyway, more on that in a minute. Okay, so what we want to do first is power this rail here. So on the 5th item here, on pin 36, you can see 3.3 volts out. I don't know if you can see that. 3.3 volts out. So the 5th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is there, that needs to go to the red line here. Let me just make sure I've got that right. 1, 2, 3, no, I've got 6 there. Is that right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So that's 3.3 volts out, which is a power pin. So it's to power something. So we want to make this live. And the next thing we want to do is get some power to one of these pins here. So again, I'll use another red one. If I've got another red one. It looks like I've not got a red one the right size, so I'm going to use a different colour. Use orange. So I want to go from the power rail, preferably to up here. It's not quite long enough. What else have I got here? Got a white one. It's not really ideal. You should probably keep them all red, you know. Got a massive long one here. That might be useful. No, it's too big. So we're going to go from the red here to anywhere in this row. So we'll go in there to there. That's fine. So at the moment what's happening is we're getting 3 volts from here, and we're powering this red line. It's going all the way along there, then we're going through there, all the way up here. So now power, if this is turned on, which it is, power should be getting to this pin here in the switch. But at the moment it won't do anything. We need to carry on the circuit. Okay, so now we want to go from the other pin of the switch, which is this one, and we want to go to one of these pins here. So if we have a quick look at this, which pins can we go to? Pin 20, 19, any of those? Yeah, we'll go for pin 20, which is the end one. So I need a suitably sized one of these. That's a bit too big. Let's use this one here. That one looks alright. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we've got 3 volts. It goes down here, across here, powers the switch, back out here, and to pin 20. So at the moment, what would happen if we pressed it? So if we pressed it, 3 volts of power would go to that pin. Okay. Now usually, or like I said about the LED that we did, you wouldn't really do that. You wouldn't power it directly without a resistor. But inside there is a resistor already, and it's called a pull up or pull down resistor, and I'll explain about that in a minute. Okay, so I'll just put this down here now. It's time to do some coding. Now, so the first thing we need to do is import machine. Now, we need button, so button equals machine dot pin. Then the pin number, which what was ours? What was our pin number? I think it was 20, but it may not have been. Yeah, 20, which corresponds to GP15 on the card. So GP15. So that'd be pin 15. I want to say machine dot pin dot in because it's an input. Machine dot pin dot pull down. So what is this pull down and why are we saying that? Okay, so by default, if we didn't connect the pin to anything, this pin here, and we were to read, is it digitally high or is it digitally low, what would it say? Well, you would expect it to say 0, low, because we're not applying any voltage to it, but that's not always the case. So if you're not using a pin and you're just sort of leaving it open, then it could really be anything. So all of these pins on microcontroller and any other microcontroller for that matter that I'm aware of suffer from noise problems. So we have pull down and we have pull up as well. What it means is if it's a weak signal that it suspects to be noisy, then pull it one way or another. So if there's noise, just ignore it and say that it's a low signal, or just ignore it and say that it's a high signal. So in this case, if there's noise, we want it to be pulled down. So if there's noise, pull it down to 0. If there's no noise, or if there's a strong signal, then it's whatever it is, which in our case will always be high if we press this, because we've got 3.3 volts coming in, which is a high signal, goes through here. At the moment we press that, it's definitely high. It's a 3.3, so it's high. If it's not, then it's pulled down to 0, which is low. Anyway, so that's what that does. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to print the value. So print button dot value. Print button value. So let's just make sure this works. So I'll save this and it should run. Now remember we've got this console here. Pull this up here. Clear it. Now press it. And it doesn't work. Right, of course. That's because it runs once and that's it. So we need to put a while in it. So we've done this before. So we need to import import uTime. Import uTime. Then we need to put a while in here, so we need to say while true, then we could actually just do that. We could say while true, output the value, but we need a sleep in it. We need a sleep. So uTime dot sleep. Let's say 1 second. And now let's run it. So every second it should say the state of the button. So it's 0 at the moment. Now if I press it, it should be 1. Yeah. If we let go, it goes down to 0. Okay, so that's how that works. So we've got our switch now, and we've got a value inputted to the Pico, and it's all safe because it has its resistors, and we pulled it down if it's noisy. So we press down, and it's released. Now we need to do something with it, but let me just have a look at the book, because the book asks us to do something else here. The book says only print the value if it's pressed, but okay, we can do that. So while true, if button.value equals 1, which is the same as true, presumably, you could probably do this. We'll see if that works. If it's true, then, and remember, in Python we have to indent all of these control statements. So let's see if it works. If true, so only if it's true it will feed back now. So let's clear this. There we go. Only if it's true it does it once a second. And we could change this to 1. The same as SQL Server. It works the same way. So if we clear this again. Okay. So we've got a simple if statement, we've got a while loop, and then we print the value of the button. So now we need to go a bit further, and now we're going to say if the button is pressed, then light the LED. Just something as simple as that. Alright, let's make this a bit more complicated now. So remember the LED that we had in the previous video? We've got the anode and the cathode. The anode is the longer leg and the cathode is the shorter one. I'm going to put this in here. So I've got the anode in pin, it's GP16 pin 21. The cathode is just anywhere really, as long as it isn't in the same line as any other thing like the switch or any other wires, it's fine. Then we're going to go from the cathode, which is the minus, to the third pin along in the Pico here. Any ground pin basically. So you see on here ground, third pin is ground, any ground pin would be fine. So what will potentially happen here, we've got this pin on the end here, GP16, potentially supplying some power, a very small amount of power, to the LED. Then it goes out from there, through the resistor to ground. Remember that the LED needs the resistor, but the switch doesn't. Okay, so let's do some coding, otherwise it will never be powered. Let's move this down a bit. Okay. So copy this line here and paste. Then we want this to be called LED. The pin is 16, GP16. It's not an input pin, it's an output pin, because we're sending power out. We're not reading any signal in. There's no pull down on this because it's an output. You don't need to pull anything down. So while true, if the button is pressed, then print the value and then sleep. So we want it to also say power the LED. So if I do LED.value, oh, what's happened there? There we go, LED value, and it needs to be actually true, which means power the LED. Else, if the button is not pressed, then LED needs to be 0 or false or off. So if the button is pressed, then show whether the button is down or up, and then power the LED, sleep for a second. Otherwise, turn the LED off. Now that sleep needs to be removed from there, because we don't want it to sleep only if the button's pressed. We want it to sleep at every iteration. So I'll paste that down there with a bit of indentation. Let's move this down, it's in the way. Okay, now do we end in if? I don't think we do. I don't think there's a termination statement. I think it's all to do with indentation. So let's see if that works. Okay, file std line 12, invalid syntax. What's up with that? Have I missed something? Hang on. Oh, right. Okay, I think it's because of this, but let me just check. I don't know, let's see. Anyway, if we go back over to the LED, let's make this a bit bigger. So what's happening now is that every second it checks the button. If the button is pressed, then it puts the LED high or powered. If it's not pressed, then it makes it low. Okay, but because of the sleep, it doesn't always make that much sense. Can you see that? So you've got to hold it. So next thing, first of all, let's get rid of print button value. We don't need to print whether it's on or not anymore. And let's change this. Let's get rid of this. So there's no sleeping now. So we've taken the sleep out. So now it's whizzing through the while loop as fast as it can, which should get rid of the lag that we just saw there. Okay, so now we get that. But what's quite interesting about this is that the button isn't directly powering the LED. So there's a little brain going on in here, and it's detecting what the value of the button is through that pin, and then it's saying if the value is this, then turn the LED on or switch it off, which is quite interesting. So the button and the LED are not connected. That's quite cool. Let me just put this down here again. The next thing I'm going to do is make it hold. So when you press, you see if you press here, it just lets go straight away. It depowers, well, depower is a bit of a funny way of putting it, but it doesn't power the LED as soon as you take your finger off. Let's make it so you press it and it holds it for 10 seconds. Okay, so if button value is 1 or true or pressed, then LED value is high, otherwise it's low. So what we want to say is, we want to say sleep. Do I need to put utime in this? Maybe I do. Utime.sleep 10 seconds, and let's run that. Now if I press it, it should hold it for 10 seconds. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, my count was a bit off, but it's worked. So you can do all sorts of cool stuff like that. And that's this project done. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Bye.